So I haven't talked to you about this because I categorize it as a me problem, not a you problem.
Okay.
So in my mind, one, I try to keep feelings out of business stuff.
Right.
Even my
Gonna
own. But
probably the
two,
things she told the Dons.
if it's an insecurity and a me problem, why should I be talking to you about it when I know it's something that just stems from my problems?
Fair, but I will say that can give me or whoever in general the chance to rephrase and reassure in case the intent is different, right? So I still see value in that.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk about it then. Because I was like, oh, that's just I have to deal with on my own. But
right.
If you prefer it that way, then yeah, easy. Oh my god, then we're communicating. I'm gonna proceed this by saying I am sorry I didn't bring it up sooner. The reason is because I feel it's a me problem more than it is anything you actually did. Because I feel like I can also read between the lines, and I know that you did not mean it the way it came off. But I think it like pushed a button of something I was already worried about, so it's stuck in my brain. Got it. So it was mostly me spiraling over something. Well, I wouldn't say spiraling. It's more of just it's stuck because I was already worried about that thing. But I literally have 1,000,000,000% faith that it is not how you meant it whatsoever. Okay. So it didn't. So I categorize it as a me issue and not a you issue.
I will take you at your word for sure.
So when we were talking, there was a point where you said if they wanted to fix her, they could have just asked me.
Right.
And I feel like in the moment I received that as like, we don't need you, we have me. And I was like, huh?
Okay.
Which, like, if I'm being honest, I was kind of like, I mean, that's fair, like, to a degree.
Like,
you are capable of doing anything in the world, and I have nothing but love and respect for you. So I was like, that's kind of fair. I was like, but I do have like other things as similar as we are.
Oh yeah.
There's just more
for sure, and that is. I will let you know, the Dons on Friday did bring it up to me and did tell me, you know, hey, she said this, we want to make sure you're not kind of like having issues. Like, do you feel this way? Right. And I told them basically the same thing that I had said to you, which was like, I mean this very like incredibly matter of fact that I'm trying to let her know that my POV is what it is, right? Or my POV has been, my experience has been. I tell them a thing and then it, you know, that's it. It just kind of like dissipates at that point, right? So I was saying to them, like, you know, I was trying to give her not a full expectation, not saying this is going to be the way it is, but this is how it's been for me as up until recently the only person in that level of role, right? Between Captain and Don. So I kind of reassured them on that. But they were like incredibly ultra concerned that I was like hating you forever or something, or like
what?
Not like that bad, but they really.
That's crazy.
I took it with a bit of a grain of salt because I have experienced this a million times where someone said something, then they come back to me about it, and it is telephoned, like the thing I was just saying before, right? And so I didn't hear that from them and go, Andi definitely told them that I said something horrible to her and meant it that way.
You want to know what I really said to them?
Yeah, please.
They said, we were thinking about you for a fixer role. And that was the first time I heard of it. And I said, okay. And then my brain went back to our conversation. And I said, have you spoken to other people about that? And they were like, we don't give a f what other people think. And I was like, even Gigi. And then they went, wait, no, yes? No, we care about what? I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, I got the vibe that maybe she's being like underutilized and that she would be good in roles like that or has been already doing them. So if you could check in, I think that would be a good thing to make sure that my presence isn't ruffling feathers, I guess, in the way of like job responsibilities. And we left it at that. And they were like, cool, we'll check in with her. We don't want her to feel like her toes are being stepped on with this transition, yada, yada, yada. And I was super happy when I left because I was like, thank God that didn't turn into like something it shouldn't, because it seemed like they took it in the way of like, okay, yeah, we'll check in with her, make sure that that's not an overlap. And that there's not like something better you could do that doesn't make Gigi feel like she's getting spit in the face of if she's been doing
which is not at all. Yeah, no, I told them, I was like, look, my concern about myself, I don't remember how I worded it, but basically my concern about myself has always been that I'll tell them, not about myself, but you know, the situation of me trying to get them to do things that doesn't happen is I say a thing that doesn't happen, and that's it. And then sometime later someone will realize, hey, let's do this thing, and it gets done, and then I'm sitting there 3 months later being like, man, if they had just listened. And it doesn't mean that I think every idea of mine is perfect and infallible.
If only someone had told you.
If only, right. It's not always like I need them to have my solution
of 2020.
Exactly. I do a lot of like informing. I notice a thing and I tell them, and then I notice another thing and I tell them. And if it doesn't sound huge and dramatic, they tend to not worry about it, and they don't have a sense of urgency on small things, right? So that's kind of my issue, right? So
will help determine how seriously it's taken.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I was saying to you. I've said that to Clark as well, right? Because he's similarly like between captains and dons, or in some sort of position where he has to be listened to. And I told him, you're gonna like field complaints from people and try to pass them up, blah blah blah. And I think he already knew this. I was just kind of reiterating so he knows this happened to me too. They don't just go, oh yeah, you're in a role and we're gonna listen now. But yeah, I kind of just gave him the same primer, like, don't take it to heart. They're not saying that guy, he's stupid. They're just
and that's
distracted.
what I was telling myself too. I was like, I think Gigi was genuinely just trying to like forewarn me about what potentially I could be facing going into this. But it was phrased in a way that I think just struck a thing, because I do worry, right? I don't know a lot of people here in comparison. Like, I know a few people decently well, but like in comparison to how many people there actually are, it's a lot of new people to go into. And the fear that I'm gonna like come in here and people are going to be upset about either A, getting a position, or just B, being here at all if they have notions of what they think I'm like.
At the same time, it's kind of them, not completely them, but like they can put that aside and give it a chance, right? Like,
exactly.
Their opinion right now is what I mean.
Is that I was hoping that people would give me a chance on how they feel about things.
Yeah, 100%.
Or me. And so I was already very nervous about like upsetting things, I guess, before I have a chance to like, do something that legitimately upsets things, because then, that's on me and that's what it is. But
that's a fair worry to have completely, because there might be people in this world that would feel that way. I will say majority of this crew isn't really like that. We have such a big crew, and I think people are very used to people coming in and just doing shit and I'll randomly assign someone to do a thing, and someone else will be like, oh, this guy's trying to do this thing, and I go, yep, yes they are, right? There's a lot of not in a bad way, but a lot of redundancy of people kind of handling similar pipelines, right? There's a lot of wheat sellers, a lot of moonshine sellers, so there's not a lot of like, this guy does this thing and no one knows what's going on, he's the king of this thing, right? And I think because of that, in a good way, not a lot of members have developed a feeling of like, I'm so fucking special for being the best wheat seller, right? Instead, it's just, let's go team, right? Let's get done, let's get that bread. And I think it's good, because then people are not as possessive or weird about other people doing the same thing that they do in a way, or even if it's nuanced, it is different. They're more likely to see that because they're more used to looking at things that way, right? So I think there's been a lot of positive in the crew where people are more likely to be like, I'd like to see how this person approaches this too. I think it's good to have this person who is not me do this thing, instead of being like, no, I must be the king of weed selling.
I was really anxious about that, and I still am at some points. I feel like I'm
that's
putting
normal.
a lot of stock in hoping that people are happy to have me here. Probably more stock than I should.
I think it's a good thing. I think a lot of people have been happy. I think a lot of people have been running around like literally, yay Andi, like unironically being like, yay Andi's joining, yay.
I asked if you wanted to know more about me, and you said that you feel like you had learned a lot from the guild, well, from the Polito pals.
Right.
I think, listen, I chalked that up to you having to go, because you had warned me that you
that is fully candid. Yes, I had to go in 2 minutes from when I said that. Yes.
Because I was like, I don't feel like Gigi's the type to just be like, no, I know enough. Thank you. Have a good day.
No. Meaning in that moment, there was nothing I needed. And I can ask more as time goes on, learn more as time goes on, because I will be seeing you if I add more sentences to what I meant.
That's all I needed for now, is such a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Gigi does not seem like somebody who would be like, no, I'm okay.
That, yeah.
I'm not interested. And I was like, I think she just had to go. Yeah, I think I panicked a little because I don't know what they have told you, but I have not historically had the best reputation in town. Okay. There's been a lot of people who have hated me very passionately. I think they are like the loud minority, but loud nonetheless. I was with HOA since day one. I was with them till it died, and we were trying to give them a chance to change it. I've been really lonely for a really long time here. Ever since losing them, because I kind of just lost everybody in one fell swoop with HOA. They're all gone, and that's like a 42-person loss. And then on top of that, the guild's is falling off, not around as much. I kind of talked to Jaeger about this when they were first kind of pitching stuff. And I kind of put it to the way of him that the decision would be decided on whether I could bring myself to potentially lose everyone in my life again, or if it was better to just be kind of lonely but not be at risk of that.
Right.
So I think like even the smallest sign, and again, I'm so sorry because that is on me, I think I'm overly paranoid about messing this up before I get to enjoy it.
And that's completely understandable. And I will say, when I was first establishing myself in this city, And I was getting to know a lot of people, knowing who was with who previously, everything, seeing how people are kind of working with new people now or not, blah, blah, blah. There were several people that I met that were saying, yeah, I would have liked to hang out with HOA, but they're not around. Or, oh yeah, at least I see Andi, right? Comments like that. So, and I would think about that a lot. You know, I was glad when you became mayor of the North, because I was thinking to myself, well, there's something to do, right? Like there's something with purpose there. But that's a term, right? Yeah. That is a term, and that's a position you get put in. That's not something you own like that. That's very different. So it was kind of on my mind. And then I myself would go up to Polito and hang out with the guild all night, and I would see you there, right? I'd see you around. And as that kind of fell off, I was thinking to myself, well, I know like Andi, Alex, and Eve are around, but who else really is? I've seen it in front of me too, even without knowing, too much before that. Even just now, it's definitely been there.
Yeah. No, I feel really bad because I already knew that you didn't mean anything by it, but
yeah,
I feel like my brain took the first opportunity to get just get so worried that I'm already it up somehow.
I can't imagine that that's happened to too many people, to have that many people just not around, right?
All at once too. It's crazy. And I know it's how things are, but like I can't like pretend that it's easy to wander around by yourself when you used to fucking have a neighborhood literally full of people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's insane because I was thinking in my head about all these people, like it's the same size almost, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello.
Quick update since our comms suck.
Okay.
I put keypads on the cereal boxes because we have like 20k mats and I don't want them to sneeze and disappear.
Yes.
I put 5k in the silos for the dogs, so they're locked out.
Okay.
And the keypad code is 1180.
That's my state ID.
Totally not a coincidence that I wrote down that number.
Okay. Thank you.
They'll never know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
The crawl up. Oh my god.
So no. Because I was like, Gigi is like the person that I was hoping to be like most excited that I'm here. That I genuinely, sincerely, and can honestly probably have yapped too much about how much I love and care about you and respect everything you've done.
Aww.
Especially because I have been in a position where I was her and I was holding it down with a bunch of dumbass boys. And I have infinite respect for that role.
And that is definitely, my mindset, right? When I'm hearing, oh yeah, Andi's going to be here. My first thought is, yes, a woman who has had to wrangle lots of dudes, right? Like just like I already know you're gonna know, right?
But I was like, I could upset Lynx, Petey, Tony here. I don't care all day long, Luciano. But like, for some reason, you are the one person that I was like, I want her to just be happy.
Yeah.
And I don't want my presence to like be anything but a positive thing. And I think I will be completely fine working together on stuff.
Yeah. And
I got so worried that it was causing a problem for you, and I never thought it was even like me. Like if it were to be something, I was like, I don't think it's even me. I think it's just not being listened to or missing more FaceTime with the Dons and stuff. And then I kind of like psychoanalyzed and spiraled, and I was just like, but God, if they were like in some shitty Southside house and it's them against the world and they're doing this together and like losing that camaraderie over time when you get bigger and bigger and bigger and then roles get more defined and stuff, like I wouldn't blame you at all for feeling any type of way about that, especially if I'm coming in and taking something that could give you more camaraderie with them, which I don't think it will. Honestly, I think I'm barely going to see those guys, but
I mean, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, my position with things is that, do I dislike how some things are functionally? Yes, but I don't really feel like super sad over it even. Nothing's gotten to that point where I am dooming in my own head and spiraling or anything, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of the stuff that I want that I haven't been able to have is really because of poor timing, because of a few little functional things, the way some stuff is. It's not anyone's personal stuff. And, some of the stuff that I mentioned to you was really only stuff that I said because we were doing our one-on-one, right? And I know you're in a position right now where I can tell you some of those things. But some of the stuff I have already brought up, especially to Speedy, I think he's usually the best at hearing me out on things like that. So I tend to sometimes bring stuff up to him first, and then he can kind of bring it up to all of them rather than just me standing there and saying it. So I've already kind of delivered a bunch of my thoughts on that, and I told him, my biggest thing was just lack of definition for me. Not really not that I need to change what I'm doing too much. I already know what I need to change. And I did. Yeah, exactly. There's no clarity. Like they change up some things day to day, right? Some stuff that I'll get told one thing by one of them and then a different thing, and and I'm just used to that at this point. That doesn't make me upset, right? Because I don't think it's coming from a bad place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was just saying to him, like, hey, whatever you guys got to do, you figure it out. But just, you know, more definition here is good. Yeah, it's good.
Well, regardless, I am sorry that I did not speak to you about it. I did categorize it as like a me problem, which I still do, to be honest. Like even at the end of this, I'm like, this is entirely based on how I feel, what I'm afraid of, and it just like one thing stuck in my brain. But now that I know that you prefer that it gets addressed anyway, then I will do that in the future. And I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Well, you
segment it,
and you haven't worked with me before. Like we know each other, but you haven't worked with me, right? So how would you know? Right.
Yeah, I think still positive because now I do know.
Also, I might pass out.
Please don't.
I'm also hungry.
Cupcake.
I am also famished. Thank you. Thank you.
I am sorry. If they took that in ways that I didn't want, I'm sorry for that too.
I mean, how would you? Not how would you know, but how would you know the extent to which they might?
But like that's why I was so happy when I left the first conversation because pretty much like we'll check in because I want her to be good, and I was like that is exactly what I wanted from even bringing it up for the like 30 seconds we talked about it. I was like I just want to make sure she's good because she deserves that courtesy after all she's done. Yeah, my only goal is to like make sure that you were given your platform to have your say on that, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I'm chilling.
My emotions aside, I was just like
you know,
I get like that every so often.
Yeah,
not usually, not often, but every so often. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean,
just a lot.
Your history plus this unique situation you're thrown into this time and everything, you know, it's just all these things point to, oh God, this could be a problem. So it is a totally normal conclusion.
I think it's like I also got more nervous because I know that the boys used to be very, 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 very close with Dino back in the day, and I'm sure some still are. But dude does not have the best things to say about me, and I don't really care about that part so much as like people having notions previously,
right,
and deciding an opinion on me. And honestly, people if they do, but I still was like crossing my fingers that people would be open to at least talking to me before like solidifying an opinion. And mostly everybody seems like they have. So.
I mean,
fake as hell, but we'll see that.
I'll put it the way Lang put it to me a long while back. It's been 5 years, and people haven't seen each other for 5 years, and if they're still holding on to what the are they doing, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Already fixed a few things, thank God.
Yeah. Good.
The biggest thing is people just being like, I think this might be a thing. I'm like, call them. And they're like, okay. And then I get a call, and they're like, it actually was fine. And I'm like, oh,
yep.
Look at that. And no one died. Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, I think overall good, because now I know what you'd prefer. And again, a millionth time, so sorry that I didn't approach it that way.
You don't have to apologize 100 times. You're fine.
Well, I'm gonna. So
you
I'm
don't
sorry.
Gotta.
And
okay, as an apology, you have to
what's my penance?
Go on a bicycle ride with me tomorrow, and we have to kidnap someone.
Fine.
Okay.